Hello and welcome to the Yerky Boys. May the Kandrona shine and strengthen you. My name is Will.
My name is Jonathan.
And we are the Yerky Boys. That's us. We got a big day today. Yeah.
Big day.
Your boy.
Big day.
Big day, big book. This is quite the book we've got here. Book 16, The Warning.
That's right. Released in February 1998.
I think this is one that we might want to keep the release date in mind. I think it's going to be pretty relevant.
Perhaps.
At least for the first part.
Yes. I could see that.
Yeah,
Pretty exciting tease for all the listeners.
I'm very excited to do this book. I gotta tell you.
It's a pretty good one.
It is
pretty good. There's some pretty good stuff in here.
Yeah, I want to say this right off the bat because I have a feeling we're going to be burnt out and tired by the end of the episode and just want to be done because we'll have been talking so much.
Right.
But I really feel like this book here, this is like the quintessential Animorphs book, right? Like this book has everything, right? It's got like funny of the time culture stuff. It's got like spectacularly dumb shit. It's got like horrific bodily trauma and like frank discussions of PTSD. It's got these like gray area moral quandaries with no easy answer. Like this has the full spectrum of things that Animorphs books do. And why I like them.
Yeah. It doesn't have. It's missing some of the iconic recurring elements. Specifically, like there's not a Visser 3 appearance in this book.
That's true. There is no Visser 3 shows up as a weird monster. A little spoiler for that.
But in terms of the thematic resonance, I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I think we're going to have a lot to say, so we should try to move into it more quickly than normal.
I don't have anything to say. Let's just get into the book. Let's not waste any time.
Let's look at this cover here, then.
Yeah, let's look at it. Let's really look at it.
Really take a close look at it.
Oh yeah, I've been looking at it for a while now.
The hair on the middle face, where he's a big hunched over rhino, but he still has his regular hair. Pretty big fan.
Yeah, I mean both the second and third transitions are quite good. The fact that they just made his nose become the horn was a great choice.
It kind of reminds me of like a Zelda character.
We should say, if people aren't looking at this, he's turning into a rhino.
Yeah, I don't remember I don't think I said that this ep. But yeah, the way his face like kind of bulges out, it gives me that kind of you see what I'm saying.
It looks like a Breath of the Wild, either some kind of a Korok or perhaps he's a Zora or something, one of those weirdos. Yeah, he's got that sort of strange characterization to him, and the way the eyes just spread apart and the ears lift. I mean, the third section, I feel like that I'm gonna look like that soon. That just kind of looks like me, just hunched over, thick body.
A grim vision of things to come. I like the mouth too. I like how it stretches out and gets wider, but he's got this kind of like slightly downturned look to it. It's really, really good.
I used to have a picture book when I was a kid that there's not a high chance that you know what I'm going to be talking about, but you would have loved it, I think. Which I can't remember like the author. I think the name of it was All of My Friends Are Monsters, something along those lines.
Sounds really good.
And that version of Jake mid Rhinomorph reminds me of like the art, like all the monsters kind of looked like that. They just had these weird faces and bodies. That's the vibe I'm getting. So
yeah, that's our friend Jake.
Our friend Jake, our buddy Jake, wearing just like the most classic 90s kid t-shirt and jeans
Oh yeah,
and
look at the
sneakers.
sleeves on that thing.
Those are long ass sleeves. Like that's a
Yeah.
weird length for a sleeve.
Yeah, are they like long and rolled up to his elbow or something? What is going on?
It's really it's like a half sleeve, but it's not like a baseball tee, where they kind of do that. It's like it's wide but but long. It's so weird.
They were wild in the 90s.
Now the quote on the cover here,
Yeah,
is that the longest one so far?
it
And
might
maybe the
be.
most verbose. It's
It's
not. It's a little
clunky too.
clunky. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Now it'll take more than the truth to set you free.
I mean, just immediate off the top of my head, you can cross now
Yes.
off. Like,
Yes. You
it'll
took the
take
words
more
right
than
out
the
of my
truth.
mouth.
That's
So, I mean, that improves it 100 times. It's insane that they had now there.
who writes these?
It's definitely not K. Applegate. Like it
Yeah,
is. It's the public. Somebody at the publishing house. They slap that on the cover.
for sure. And on the inner cover, it says, sometimes you have to blow your own horn.
Okay, so
I don't even know. Like, is this like a toot your own horn? Because that's the saying.
yes,
I mean, this sounds
right.
kind of lewd, the way that they've.
Yeah, I've tried. I've tried many a time. Haven't made it happen yet.
A good old
I
human horn.
I mean, I do think I've heard "blow your own horn." Like I knew what they meant, but it is weird. And also, again, I mean, it doesn't make sense if you really break it down.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything that happens in this book. It's not. This book isn't about someone learning to be self confident or something.
You think when they write these, the front cover one is always just like gibberish. Like, do you think they just have stock ones for the like, okay, just make up one for the next Animorphs book and we'll throw it on, and then the inner cover they're kind of like, okay, well now we got a blurb, so I know it's about a rhino. Now I'll make one up for that.
I think maybe they just open up a fortune cookie and write down whatever it says. Sometimes you have to blow your own horn in bed.
Yeah.
Can that
Help,
be our
I'm
new
trapped
game?
in the Scholastic printing house.
Isn't that a Goosebumps book? Um, I just think we can add in bed from now on to the every tagline.
You're probably right about that. That's a really funny and clever idea you had there.
Thank you. Now the inside photo
Hmm. You like that one, huh?
is so it's Jake. It's obviously he's a rhino, and it looks like they just placed him in the African savannah. Like,
Yeah.
where?
It,
Why is he there?
yeah, there's a little rhino crossing sign.
Yeah, which I don't
It's
know that that's what's that.
I, I mean, what's and they don't. Oh, little spoilers. They don't go to the African savannah in this book.
No, usually these are places they actually end up. I mean, I guess that no. I mean, it could be like, oh, maybe that's just a forest, but the fact that there's a rhino sign, like, okay, this is a place rhinos go. Or maybe it's the zoo. Is he supposed? Is that supposed to be like?
This is a
But
hell
no,
of an enclosure. I mean, maybe
yeah,
maybe it's like the Safari Land or something at Disney or something.
right, yeah, and I guess is that Tobias in the
I'm
background?
assuming that's Tobias.
Or it's just some other bird. I don't, I don't know. Maybe it's a falcon. Maybe that's Jake also.
Oh yeah. Oh that could be. Maybe this is just the rhino, and that's Jake up there.
I mean I'm not a birdologist, but that doesn't look like a
Yeah.
red-tailed hawk to me.
No, it does not. Yeah, that could be a peregrine falcon.
Weird. Weird.
Yeah, I think that's Jake. I think this is the rhino. I don't know.
Yippee ki Mr. Falcon.
That's what they should have put on the inside cover of the book.
Oh, yes.
You should have wrote these. What are they?
Yes. Yeah, they should
What are
hire
they
me.
thinking?
Yes.
Yeah, and
So
let's get the dedication out of the way here too. This is another
what?
Max Leach book.
It's
Remember our
what?
old friend Max Leach?
I thought they were all going to be the same. Why
They
do
all
you...
they don't they used to all say for Michael. Now, but listen, I thought it was going to be consistent, but she keeps tacking more stuff onto these dedications. The point
Wait, so
we've
she's
already
just
gone.
adding more names?
Yeah, it also has Alexander and Max Leach, which we've seen before, and I didn't look them up this time either. I really want to. Max Leach is just such a great name.
I was going to ask. I don't remember who that is, but I guess we don't know.
Yeah, I've been too lazy. It's Visser 3. Max Leach is Visser 3. That's what I think.
Oh man! Now there's some ad here for the warning on Seropedia as an image, a scanned image that says coming in March, but they say it was released in February, so I'm not sure what that's about.
That sounds like a goof or inconsistency.
Also says to visit the website at http://scholastic.com/animorphs.
Wow.
Think it's still up?
I'm going there right now. http:// scholastic.com/animorphs.
Okay.
404. We're sorry, nothing was found at this location.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Sure is.
I mean, come on. Would have been perfect for this book.
I know.
Oh
well.
Well, I'm ready to start the book.
I am too. Shockingly, this might be our fastest start yet.
No. It's
We're
not
only
the
like 13
fastest
minutes
start.
in. All right. So,
Okay.
This
All
is
right.
a very special book.
Yeah.
Normally, right, these books would start off with My Name is Jake.
Right.
This book doesn't start that way.
No.
So this book starts, I'm just going to read it here. I typed B-ball 24. Then I typed in my code word, which is a series of letters and numbers. I moved the mouse and placed the arrow on sign on. I clicked the mouse and I waited while the modem dialed. My name is Jake. I hope you're hype.
Get hype.
Get hype. Jake is messing around on the internet. Red alert. We have an internet in this book. And on a whim, he decides to search Yerk. And he stumbles upon a Yerk Resistance homepage. So he brings all of the Animorphs over to check it out. It's mostly a bunch of junk info, but there's a few things that check out, including identifying Chapman correctly as a Yerk. The site has a chat section, so Axe writes some code to make the computer secure, whatever, and they go into the chat. They see a whole bunch of people there talking about Yerks. Some are trolls, at least one is probably a Yerk, but some seem to be legit. Axe tries to hack the Web Access America servers and dox them. Web Access America is their version of AOL. But he can't do it, so they decide they're going to break into the WAA office and get direct access to their systems and figure out who these people are, right? Do they have allies? So, just so the listeners know, I have decided to split this into a 2-part episode. The first 2 hours we're going to spend talking about these 3 chapters, and next time we'll talk about the rest of the book.
I was about to say, I can't believe what you just said. It's probably half my notes are on what you just said.
Yeah, I have never written so much on so few chapters, and that includes the first book where I had to write a summation of the plot of Animorphs. And I feel like I did not write nearly as much as I might have to say. Just some things that happen in here.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun today.
This is a good part.
Is this the first / only book? I think the only other book I can think of is the I believe it was Axe's book, which began with a foreword or prologue. That
Mm.
every other book has started with "My name is" so
That
far.
sounds right. I didn't actually. I could. Maybe I'll go through. I won't remember to go through and check, but
I think it
I.
has to be right. Maybe with the exception of Megamorphs or something,
Yeah,
but even
that
then,
is the standard.
yeah. So that's yeah. I wonder what that was about. I wonder why she decided to switch things up there,
Yeah.
just for fun, I guess.
My name is B-Ball 24. Now
Yeah,
he
that would have been
he
good.
says that's not actually his screen name. He's changed that to protect his identity as well.
But then he later explains why
Right.
he has that name.
Yeah. It's
So
because 24. Well, see, 24 is the most points he ever scored in basketball, right? But that's probably not true. It's probably like B-ball 21 or B-ball 27 or something. The
okay,
Yerks will
that makes
never
sense.
find him.
Now, I'm no sporto, but
Uh-huh.
24 is not a very good score in basketball. Am I?
Well, he personally scored it.
Oh, like that was all from his points, not his
Yeah.
team.
Which sounds
Okay.
high to me.
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
so.
really know.
I feel like a professional basketball game, you see them sometimes go up to like into like 100, 200
Yeah, I was
points.
gonna guess like median like 60 to 70, but I don't
But that's
know. I
like
could be
NBA,
totally
so
wrong.
yeah, I mean, just
Yeah.
like kids in school, it's probably not that good.
Yeah, they probably have a lot more chances to shoot because they suck at defense, but they also probably miss all those shots. I don't know.
Now I don't want to talk about sports. I want to talk
No.
about the internet.
Yeah. I yeah.
Yeah, so I
Tell
mean
me what you want to say about the internet.
as you said, it's 1998. AOL is the hotness right now.
Hmm.
And it's clear from the way some of this book is written that K.A. Applegate does not expect 100% of her readers to have familiarity with how AOL works.
Yes, she also clearly doesn't have 100% familiarity herself. Like
Well,
she's like
yeah.
90% there.
I love that she calls the cursor the arrow.
Hmm.
Which maybe cursor wasn't common lexicon back
It's pro-
then.
I mean, it could also be because I might have said like the pointer because it's probably
Hmm.
in like the pointy form and not the cursey form.
Well, I would still call the pointy the cursor. Wouldn't call it that?
Uh, I don't know that I would.
I'd be like my mouse, my cursor. That's like whatever I'm moving around. I call that my cursor.
I generally would only say my cursor if it's like
Does
in text
cursor
edit mode.
mean something? I never even thought about it. I just thought like that means the thing my mouse
I
controls.
mean, to be honest, actually, what I would say is my mouse. If we're being real here.
Here, first result on Google just came up. The position indicator on a computer display screen where a user can enter text.
Yeah, yeah. So it's only when it's the text thing. It's the
But
cursor.
I'll also say this: the
Yeah.
first image that it shows you immediately is an arrow. So
Sure.
you may be technically correct, but I think it's just become it's just
Yeah.
everyone just calls whatever the cursor.
Sure.
Um, yeah. Anyway, I'm glad we settled that. Now we do find out also. Oh, we get a Liren shout out here, by the way.
We do.
That's
We get a
funny.
Liren shout out. We get a
Uh,
couple of shout outs this book. Like they shout out the Elemist real quick, Liren real quick, but they don't really explain what they are.
yeah, which is fine.
Yeah, probably for the best.
We do find out Jake's internet speed,
Yes. Hmm.
which is 38,400 bits per second.
Yes.
Now, if you're like me, you read this and went, I didn't even recognize the acronym he uses. I guess it's not an acronym, right? An abbreviation, BPS.
I
Because
did.
I'm like, do you mean KBPS? I have never seen anyone measure internet speed in
Mhm.
bits before.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. I was thinking about this because Marco has a 56K. Wowie
Right.
zowie. But like
Yeah.
the first time that and this is gonna date me, The first time that I was ever aware of an internet speed, like I ever paid attention, it was 56K, but it was like 56K is a really slow internet speed.
Right. It
So
is.
like I kind of glazed over this when I first read it probably, or like I don't know exactly, but at some point I was like, yeah, 56K. That's a speed that somebody might have, but it's like a little outdated now. And oh hey, that's what Marco has, but it's good?
Yeah, I did some research here because I wanted to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So for the record, in case anyone needed this translated for them, 38,400 BPS is 38.4 kbps.
Right.
The average internet speed, according to what I read somewhere
Mhm.
in 1998, was 56K. That was the average
Ah, so that
modem.
was average. Marco's wasn't very good. It was just normal.
Yeah, I guess so. Today the average is more like 768K. Just to
Yeah.
give you some perspective.
Yeah.
For all the zoomers out there who
Who
listen,
don't
it would let me put it this way. It would take you about 10 minutes to watch a single TikTok.
do Zoomers have any idea what a kilobyte is? Like that's not a relevant unit of measure. That might as well be nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's so anyway, so Jake's internet is shit.
Yeah, it's very bad. But he says at least this one's better than my old 14K 400, whatever you call
Yeah.
that. That's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's like I can't even imagine. Like you can't even load an image on that. You're just
Oh
text
no.
only.
Yeah, that is text only for sure.
So great. This is the world we're living in. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember in 1998. I mean, I did have AOL 56K in my house, so we probably had it at this time. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I would have been just like Marco cruising the AOL cyberspace,
Yeah. Look at
chatting on
that.
your hotlines.
Yeah, I mean, Axe in here wonders why it's not at least millions, and I'm kind of sitting here thinking, like, he's got a point. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, he made books.
That's true.
Anyway.
And telephones. They say in this book that Andalites also invented telephones after the computer because they're more efficient.
Kind of makes sense in a way. It is kind of a commentary on how humans just technology just we make things worse all the time.
That is true.
Like you invented Reddit after you invented web-based message boards?
Yeah, social media after that. Look at all the
Yeah.
ways that we would love to have. Like, can you imagine if we had like Google from the aughts back now? How much better it would be to search things.
Yeah. 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 Now we get to get a peek into Jake's emails here.
Mm-hmm.
One
Mm-hmm.
of them he says is a conspiracy theory, something political. We don't know what it is, but I don't know. It's some kind of a political conspiracy theory. Any guesses? Any speculation?
Probably the thing about the Clintons killing that guy on that plane, given that it's the
Mm.
90s. I don't quite remember this conspiracy, but there was like a whole thing about like how the Clintons had like there was some guy who rode on the Clintons' private jet and they had him killed. It was like the Republican anti-Clinton conspiracy of the day. It was like their version of Pizzagate. They didn't really know how to like these a days, right? We've got the adrenochrome harvesting, child molesting pedophiles
Yeah.
run out of a pizza parlor that use slices of cheese pizza as their calling card to let other pedos know. Like that's what we do now. Back then they were like the Clintons had a guy killed. Like
Yeah,
who
they
cares?
weren't. No one was talking about pedos back then because that was just kind of normal.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah,
oh my god, the president had a relationship with a 16-year-old girl. Okay,
yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
what legitimately back then they were all like the president had like uh, an inappropriate relationship with an intern. You know, haha, let's make fun of her. Like
yeah,
that was the. I mean that is Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old. Yeah, okay, sure.
right,
Who
right,
cares?
yeah,
We care
whatever.
now, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, I care. I care.
Mm.
Now,
Now, there's
uh,
another email in here.
um,
It's an email from Cassie98.
yeah. So Cassie, well, I mean, we're gonna find out. Maybe this may or may not really be Cassie.
Well, what she says is, she says, Jake, ooh, baby, you are the man for me. I love your big, manly shoulders. I love your piercing brown eyes. They are brown, right? But most of all, I love the macho, manly way you boss us all around, snapping out orders left and right. I think of you as the new Clint Eastwood. I must have you all to myself. Signed, Cassie XXX.
XXX. Oh my god.
XXX, oh yeah.
Wow, this
Yeah.
book's getting saucy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Turns
Wait a
out
minute.
it's Marco.
It is Marco. And Jake responds. He says, Cassie, you know I like you too. But I have vowed not to get involved with any girl until my best friend Marco gets at least one girl to like him. And since we know that's never going to happen, I guess we'll never get together. Signed, Jake.
Now, does he literally write signed Jake?
It's in, like, quotes.
That's pretty weird. But
Well, people
okay.
didn't know about, like, that. Netiquette was different back then. They called it that for one thing.
Right. Yeah, Marco is funny as hell. He's an A-class prankster.
Oh yeah, this is a great troll.
But Jake got him back pretty good.
Oh yeah,
So
I can't wait for a couple of years down the line when Marco is sending Jake goatsies.
Screamers,
Yeah,
all kinds of fun stuff.
message from Cassie being like, "Hot, sexy pics just for you, Jake, and it's lemon party."
See here, I'm going a little more in his. I think it's just going to be like that one page where that goes, "You are an idiot."
I mean, yes, he loved that one too. There's no Marco loves all of these, the full range.
Yeah. Like the thing, like it just makes a million pop-ups that are like, "Hey, don't you hate clicking on these?" or stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, good times. Funny times. He'd just go in and like change Jake's wallpaper to like a Barbie or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, or like a picture of Cassie with a heart around her.
That's like still good to this day. I like literally not like, oh god, the pandemic's been so long. Maybe it was like 3 years ago now, 4 years ago. I like when I was working retail, I changed the when I closed off, I changed the settings on the computer just to be like bullshit, just to be like the mouse sensitivity is down to like 0.01 and the screen is flipped. And you can't change it because you can't move the fucking mouse. And the people in the morning were so fucking mad at me. It's still good all these years later.
That is funny. That is funny. One time in school, we changed my friend's wallpaper to, it was just like a photo of like a dude in Sailor Moon cosplay.
I might know this picture.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably problematic to talk about it now, but it was funny at the time.
No, it's a really good picture.
Yeah, we agree. Okay, now should we go to this website to get to the actual Yerk website now?
Yeah. I love this website. I like it's got like this nice old school, I don't know, GeoCities feel to it, right? It's got like
Oh yeah.
I can imagine it with like big flashy like Yerks text or whatever, like little spinning Yerk gifs.
If someone hasn't recreated this site, like that, it has to be done.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been done at some point, but it's too funny not to do. Now he gets. I also want to say he gets one result for Yerk. This is the only result.
Yeah, AOL keyword Yerk.
That's what's known today as a Google whack. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I don't think it's widely known or cared about but there's a thing where it's like it was like a little game you could play online where because now it's much harder to find one result for something.
Yeah.
So the idea was you try to like hone your search so it's specific enough that you just get one result on the whole internet because that's a challenge. But I don't now there's like more SEO and shit, so that might not even be possible anymore because they just will just
Yeah.
suggest shit at you.
Yeah. No, it doesn't feel possible. Now, I don't know how AOL keywords worked exactly. Like, I definitely used them. I had AOL on a home computer, but I don't
I
really remember.
From my memory, I believe it was simply like Nickelodeon would partner with AOL
Mhm.
and make it so that if you typed in Nick, it just took you to their homepage.
Okay.
So I think you
So you
had to
worked with them.
have yeah, I don't think you could just type any word in, or maybe if you did, it would just take you to the search results if they didn't have something prepped.
Yeah, like I know it wasn't, clearly Google was revolutionary, so this wasn't like good.
But it was fun. AOL keyword Nick. That's
That
fun.
that was good, yeah.
God, I miss those days.
I know. Now this site had four sections: facts about Yerks, suspected human Yerks, types of Yerks, and chat about Yerks.
Yep,
I
that's
was
right.
imagining like remember Real Ultimate Power? I'm like remember like I remember
Yes.
like I think that the like this I'm imagining this having sections kind of like that website.
Oh, I mean, I remember, I think I had the book Real Ultimate Power
That's good.
based on the website.
Hell yeah.
I think I got rid of it. I don't know if I still have it.
Oh,
I
that's
think
too
I, I think
bad.
I got rid of that along with my Maddox Alphabet of Manliness book.
The Maddox one hasn't held up as well, I think. I Real Ultimate Power, like I'm not gonna say it's not cringe, but like it's good. It's fun
for
to remember it.
for people who don't know, this was I was like about ninjas, like being a
Yeah,
ninja.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a bunch of
Okay.
stuff about like Ninja's favorite method of execution was like shoving a frisbee down your throat or something. Uh, I mean, what made this one work though is that it was very much written like satirically from the perspective of a loser. Like you were supposed to imagine that there was like a total loser who was just fantasizing about how cool it would be to be a ninja writing all this shit.
Sort of a Jerry Jackson or a Dax
Yeah.
Flame.
Yeah, but it was more possible to enjoy it non-ironically too if you were that person.
Yeah, as you would know.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Okay. So he like calls the whole gang together to
Yeah.
go
Yeah, to look at the site.
to look at the site. There's a few good character descriptions here.
Hmm.
Once again, Axe is referred to his human morph is referred to as disturbingly attractive.
Yes. I really like that. Jake's got a little gay panic there. Like it's okay, man.
Well, it's also got his cousin in there and himself, and his best
Well,
friend.
I
Like he
mean, he's
feels
kind
weird
of
about it.
listen, on the cousin front, he does describe Rachel as having volumes of blonde hair that shake silkily. He once again reiterates he doesn't think of her that way but like you use words to describe her in this book, man. You said it.
Yeah, no straight man ever has referred to a woman's hair as it being in volumes or shaking silkily unless he wanted to fuck her.
Yeah.
That's I can
100%.
guarantee you that. So yeah, we know where Jake stands. It's very apparent at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, he also says she is like looks something from a sword and sorcery game. Which does that mean Dungeons and Dragons? Is that what that means? I don't know
I've
what
heard
that
that
means.
phrase before, and I feel like that's like a genre, but I don't really know enough about it. I'm not a gamer.
I would think like sword and sorcery novels. That's kind of like
Hmm.
a Conan the Barbarian kind of thing.
Hmm.
but I couldn't think of a game necessarily. So I don't know. That seemed
Maybe
like it maybe a D&D to me.
this is on you. You're the gamer.
Yeah, I mean, he calls her a warrior, which is like a class in D&D. So that's what I was thinking.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like if you were actually talking about like TV or film like Xena, then the term would be sword and sandal.
Right, right. True.
So maybe it's something like that, but like
Maybe she just
there's
has it mixed
Merlins.
up. Yeah, there's Merlins.
I don't know.
We learned that Cassie is a Luddite.
Yes, Cassie doesn't like tech here.
Like, oh yeah, we needed Cassie to have another undesirable trait. She's not annoying enough. Let's also
Now,
make her hate computers. Like, why?
to be fair, computer nerds are fucking stupid and they suck.
I guess this was in the late '90s. This was probably, I don't know, but they're
Yeah,
kids. They're young kids. They should be taking to this stuff. I don't
yeah,
know.
and it feels like as a kid, if she's not taking to it because she's more outdoorsy, she should just like not care about it. Like you can really tell this is K.A. Applegate putting her opinion in Cassie's mouth.
Yeah.
When Cassie's like, cookies, what a stupid term. Why do they have to come up with these dumb names to confuse that's boomer talk. That's not what a kid says.
Yeah. Fucking okay, boomer.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know. This might be a really long episode.
Yeah. Listen, I was only half joking when as I was filling in my notes for this section, I was thinking to myself, man, we could do an ep on this.
All right, but so,
Oh, we do
well,
get before we move on from
yes.
characters, we get
Oh no. Oh
an
yes.
explicit instance of Tobias moving his head like a bird when
Oh
he's in human morph.
yeah, I did notice that. I like
Yeah,
that.
and we also learn there's another red tail trying to move in on his meadow. So he's
Yeah.
got IRL problems. I guess
I hope we
Animorphs
get.
is also IRL.
I hope we get updates on that in every book.
I
Just
think we do get updates on Tobias's meadow sitch.
good. Good. That's pretty important to me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I want another Tobias book.
We got a ways, unfortunately.
I'm bored.
How are you bored?
I don't know. I just like when Tobias and Axe are hanging out in the meadow.
It
I
is
miss it.
nice. It is
I miss.
nice. Now, on these aliens,
Yes, this is big.
uh, yeah, they've got a crude drawing of a Hork-Bajir, but seemingly accurate, and then they've got like a bunch of basically screenshots from movies and shit. Axe confirms that the aliens in Close Encounters of the Third Kind look like Skritna.
Right. So this, to me, it feels like when we read the Andalite Chronicles,
Uh-huh.
and you insisted that's what they look like. Maybe I'm not being charitable enough towards Andalite Chronicles, but I feel like you said that because you remembered this description, and you would not make that association from the one given in that book
That's
necessarily.
possible. That is possible. Because I did have that idea in my head already from having read all the books, and that is confirmed here. So clearly that's why that's in my head.
Yeah, like if you
Um,
start with that knowledge, then you read that description, like, oh yeah, that kind of lines up, but it doesn't
uh-huh.
quite.
I
Yeah, it didn't quite read that way. But it's and we also find out. Well, we don't find out. uh, well, Axe tells them that
yeah.
Elfangor once told him about his big adventure involving Skritna, but he doesn't know much about it.
Yeah.
You might
He
as well
didn't
just
really
say
say.
available now at major bookstores
Yeah.
across the U.S.
Yeah, it's a good shout out. I like it.
It is. I mean, it is kind of funny. So there's that. Then this also website also lists celebrities that they believe have yerks in them,
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm.
sort of like maybe Alanis Morissette, but they don't mention her.
Yeah. One of these people, I don't know who it is.
Oh, which one?
John Tesh. It's not they mentioned John Tesh, Snoop Dogg, and the Spice Girls. I do know who Snoop Dogg and the Spice Girls are.
So I know who John Tesh is because he's a musician. I believe he did like the NBA theme song or something like
Okay,
that, or
sure.
some news show. The main reason I know who he is because they used to have him on as a gag on Conan. Like,
That's definitely where Marco knows it from.
yeah, like he was just like, I feel like they used him not quite Yanni, but like, kind of like that kind of like funny old musician that's just, I don't know, a punchline for no reason. They just
Mhm.
decided he was. Uh, yeah, I wonder if Snoop Dogg was a controller, what might that sound like? I I don't think there's any Snoop Dogg songs I can
I'm tr-
legally.
I'm trying to think like something like infest people every day or something. I don't know. It doesn't
Like,
quite work. Like
in
smoke weed.
oh, right. I mean, drop it like it's hot. Can we do something
Oh,
with that?
yeah, you probably could.
When the Yerks try to get at you,
Well,
drop it like.
that'd be the
Oh, he is a
andalite.
Yerk. Yeah, I don't know.
Um, you're the song parodist.
Now the Spice Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you want
Mm-hmm.
to be in the sharing, you gotta invite some friends.
Uh-huh. Oh, this is
Sharing
promising.
lasts forever. The sharing never
This is less
ends.
promising.
If you want to be in the sharing, you have got to give. Sharing is so easy, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, I feel like you could have done more with that.
I didn't do much.
It's kind of what I meant.
I
It's
should have
okay.
prepared. I should have prepared
No,
something.
it's. I think it was pretty good still.
Marco says the Spice Girls suck. I disagree.
I think Marco says that because it was like you were supposed to say that as a teenage boy at the time. He probably like knows all the lyrics to their songs, but
Yeah, you're right. I did
it's
get
like with Titanic.
right, exactly. I got strong Men in Black vibes from this part because you remember Men in Black when they're like, "Oh yeah, it turns out Michael Jackson's an alien." They kind of did that, which
Yeah,
I guess came out maybe just the year before this. They're kind of right around the
that's
same time.
pretty close. Yeah. Now they
Yeah.
do also say that most likely all of these names are bullshit, right?
Right, right.
Like it's got like all these celebrities. It's got like the president and all like every major politician. Like that it just can't be right. Right? It's mostly garbage.
Yeah, right. Well, they're being a little cynical.
Yeah, they do a whole thing where and they are right. Kay Applegate is right when she kind of puts some words into the mouth of Rachel here to be like a mix of truth and lies. That's the whole internet. That's all it is.
They didn't know the half of it.
No, they didn't. They
Only
didn't
gets
even
worse
have
from
fake
there.
news back then.
No, they only had news. Wasn't fake yet.
Yeah, just regular news.
Crazy.
Not real news, mind you, just regular.
Regular. So they enter into. We have not moved on from scene one.
No, we are still in the first two chapters. We haven't gotten to chapter 3.
This is fine.
Because we still have a lot more in scene 1 here. Because this chat is very good.
Yes, there's a scheduled online chat that happens to be taking place just
Yeah,
then.
they all get online at a regular time to talk.
And so this is not like AIM. This is, or maybe it is. It seems like they have an in-browser chat room, but
Yeah, this is like an in-browser chat, and it reads more like an IRC chat than an AIM chat.
yeah, yeah.
Um, for sure. It seems
It's
like they have like weird line length cutoffs too. I don't know if that was a thing.
yeah. So you can only type 10 words at a time, and so this is I found pretty unpleasant to read.
Mhm.
You kind of have to pick a name and then just read their posts And like because they'll have one sentence split up over 4 posts and then it's interspersed with other people's messages.
Yeah, and I can kind of actually like there is a part of this that feels somewhat realistic because there are times where a bunch of people will be talking in group chat and it's like you can follow it because you're paying attention to who's saying what and reading them as they pop up on the screen. But if you were to scroll up and try to read these three conversations happening at once, you'd be like, "I what the fuck is going on?"
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think as a kid I would have really liked this part.
yeah,
I,
it's
I
very memorable.
I would have had a lot of fun reading these chats.
They're good chats. Uh,
Yeah, do you want to go over the I have all the screen names here.
yeah, I got the screen names and a little blurb about all of them, so you can get a sense of who they are here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we've got Your Killer 9, who claims to have been infested by a Yerk and escaped. We've got Go Vikes, who keeps going on about how Yerks are like worms, and if you chop them in half, they just grow back. And he's also cracking jokes. He seems to be kind of a troll type. Um, we've got Gump8293, a kid who thinks his dad is a Yerk, and he's asking for advice about what to do. Cassie is pretty sure that Gump is real. We've got Chaz, who's, I feel like Chaz is a bit too serious for an internet type, but he wants to, like, organize some kind of anti-Yerk action. He's a little upset that the chat never, like, manifests into something more real. He advises Gump not to talk to his dad, and he knows about the sharing. We've got Yerk Hater with an 8, who keeps posting kill all Yerks, but also tells Gump to talk to his dad and says the sharing's okay. He's probably an undercover Yerk. We've got CKD Sweet, who comes in to ask about the sharing. This to me reads like an e-girl name. I don't know
What
if
does
you got that vibe.
CKD stand for?
I don't
I don't know what
know.
that is.
I don't know. It feels like either a name or something that means something to the person. But this
I
to me
figured
feels like a girl on the internet, which is still somehow a big deal today, even though that's half the people. But back in the 90s, this was a big deal.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. A girl.
Yeah, a girl. Yeah, that's what I think. We've got Carlito, who is a Yerk investigator, knows they need to leave their hosts every 3 days. We've got Meg Mom, who backs up Chaz and helps out Gump. She does read like she might actually be a mom IRL, and that's why she chose this name. And we've got, finally, Fighty777, who shows up. He's got a new name to add to the list of suspected Yerks, and Meg Mom trusts him and thinks he's good to have around to have like conversations on track, apparently. She's like, oh good, Fighty's here. Now, Fighty names Charles J. Sofor, Deputy Police Chief in the capital, as a Yerk. Notably, Sofor is also the name of Elfangor's tail fighting teacher, so I think K. Applegate reused that name.
Oh, I was gonna say, add Charles J. Sofor to the list of names that are just a little off. Like, what is the deal with this book series and these names that are just slightly not normal human names?
Maybe K. Applegate's an alien.
Yes. Like, did she just? Where is she from? Is this just some fucking like? Yeah, in Kentucky, people just have weird fucking names or some shit. I don't understand it.
I mean,
Uh,
Applegate is not a weird name. It's pretty
uh,
normal.
it's kind of. I mean, it's almost like so normal that it's weird,
It's not Sofor.
right? It's not Joseph.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how do
So
you feel about all these guys?
okay, so there's a lot of guys here. I like
Yeah.
most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I also was wondering what Gump's numbers were. Like, if this is an in-browser chat room,
Yeah.
you don't like. There's probably not another Gump.
Yeah.
Why did he feel the need to add 8293?
That's a good question. I mean, he might just like it. I used to add numbers to my like handles and stuff that didn't mean much of anything. I just liked them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I used to have. Let's say this.
Yeah.
What's your first? Do you remember your first AOL or
Yeah,
internet screen name?
yeah, Jump1212.
Jump?
Jump, Zhump. I don't know. I was a weird kid. It doesn't mean anything. I just liked the sound.
You
And
are
12 was my favorite number.
so fucking weird.
Don't ask me.
What the fuck?
I also went by Earwig 12. Again, a 12. I liked that number. And I also went by Ajeroth 7, which is a reference to the Thomas Covenant White Gold Wielder book series.
Oh my
It had a villain called
god.
Ajeroth of the Seven Hells.
Oh my god. You are so annoying.
Now I need to hear your AIM screen names.
You're gonna love mine.
Okay, good. I knew
First
you
I-
would hate mine, honestly.
First, I'm gonna give you the number, which was 210.
Okay.
That was 2 was like what I thought was my lucky number at the time, and I would believe I was 10 years old.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure this is the right. I remember my first 2. My first one, I think ever, was Kakarot 210.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, because that's cool. Because that's like, you're not
Yeah.
gonna be Goku.
Goku
Like-
5000.
Everyone's gonna
Bitcoins.
be Goku. But if you're Kakarot, that's like a cool reference.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
now-
to be in the know.
Right. You're a lore
I think-
master.
Oh, I think maybe I had a Trunks screen name at one point too. I liked Trunks a lot.
Ooh, that's good.
But then the other one I remember was Poke Chimp 210.
Hell yeah.
Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
liked monkeys and I loved Pokemon. So
I mean, who doesn't? Okay,
yeah,
chimp.
we would have definitely gotten along. From my,
It's a really
you would have
good
liked
name.
me. I don't know if I would have liked you.
Yeah, who knows, right? I mean, that's sort of like how it is right now.
Right. Similar dynamic.
Yeah.
Now, everyone in this, they're trying to figure out, are these people Yerks? Or is this a trick or a trap?
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know which idea is more ridiculous, that the Yerks would actively use this as a trap. And I mean, we will get into whether or not this is explained later, but
Mhm.
or the alternative that people figured this out, and like, not only did somebody discover Yerks, but they know enough about them to be like, yeah, I'm Yerk hater. Like,
Yeah, the fact that
it's
there's
so
an undercover
ridiculous.
Yerk too. Like, I could see something like, you've got. I mean, I guess this is a little post Usenet.
Male?
They say that in this book.
They sure
But
do.
I could imagine, like, okay, you've got some like a whole bunch of these little like conspiracy Usenet groups or something, and like one of them happens to be right, and these, how many people is it? 9 people. These are like literally all the people, and they've just all come here and they're
Right.
seeing something. It is the idea that there's this Yerk hater guy who's clearly a Yerk and who showed up here just to like derail it. Like what the hell?
Who's the poor fucking Yerk that got this assignment?
Right?
Go to the library, sign in, and fucking talk to teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a good idea for a funny little comedy sketch.
Uh-huh.
It's a Yerk controller goes over to meet up with the kid, and Chris Hansen's there.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Read these messages you sent to Gump8293 about his father.
You repeatedly asked about the size of his ear canal.
We searched the trunk of your car and found a portable Yerk pool. That's really good.
All right. That's all good fun.
That is very good fun.
Well, what
Now,
else?
I know you, for a fact, are a fan of Go Vikes here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like Go
'cause-
Vikes.
Because you changed your name to Go Vikes in our group chat.
Well, I like that Marco called him, like, he's just an internet moron or something.
Yeah. I mean, he feels like he is some random troll who stumbled onto this group. He's just our resident. He's better. Back in the day, you would have like your resident troll. I feel like
Yeah.
communities are less tolerant of that sort of thing now. Like, you don't just have a guy who just kind of comes in and screams the N word, and everyone's like, don't worry about him. Don't
Yeah.
worry about him.
Things have changed. Things have
I know.
changed. Yeah, but yeah, who's your favorite?
That's a good question. I actually, you know what? I feel like, and maybe this is because K.A. Applegate wrote it, but I feel like Megmom came across really well as like a person. Like, when I was
Hmm.
reading Megmom's things, I was like, this is a mom. This is an IRL like 30 something mom who came in, and she is like the group mom, and it just reads that way to me.
Yeah, to me it read like Megmom might be kind of a MILF.
Interesting.
So
Well, you know how it is when you're a girl on the internet.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, if your name was Meg, you could make a cool name like Megabyte.
That's true.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
that
might
is pretty
transition
cool.
for that. All right. So oh, and I like at the end here when Marco gets fucking ratioed by
Oh
Axe.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Axe says that Marco has, across all of his computer games, whatever online games, whatever that means, he has a win-loss ratio of 42%. It's pretty bad,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. Come on, Marco.
Yeah,
Got to get more
not
hours in
good.
on Doom.
Clearly.
All right. Well, I'm pretty much, I think an hour
Yeah,
in, I'm pretty much done with that scene.
yeah, same here. I'm a little bit worried because I don't have another hour's worth of material on that scene, but I've got. I don't. I don't know if we can finish the book in an hour.
Yeah, we'll get, I think it'll be fine.
Okay, our
Every,
longest episode. Every episode will just be our long. There's no way we can beat this without going into like a Megamorphs or something.
yeah, this is definitely, this is going to be the top. This is the 2 to 3 chapters took us 45 minutes.
But it was
That's,
warranted. This was
yeah.
important.
I mean, there was a lot there. A lot.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into more of a regular Animorphs plot rather than just sitting here and talking about a chat room. Okay, so we said they're gonna try to break into the physical W at the Web Access America headquarters, get physical access to the computers. Okay, the headquarters is hundreds of miles away, so they are gonna have to take a plane. So the plan is to morph fly, so they can fly for free. They're gonna morph fly onto an airplane, come off the airplane, demorph. They don't know how they're going to find the gate with fly eyes, so Jake steals a diaper out of the bathroom changing station and plants it in the garbage near the gate, and they will use the diaper gravy, as Marco calls it, to find their way. They go into the bathroom and they morph in the stalls, and this time, just to kind of spice up the by now run-of-the-mill disgusting morph descriptions, Kay Applegate has a rando show up and be like, hey, anyone in there? And see Jake as a weird, fucked up half-fly monster and run off screaming. There's a bit of like a funny scene where Tobias loses control of the fly morph and he flies into a toilet and, uh-oh, someone sits down. He has to get out. Whatever. They make their way to the gate. They ride on people's hair. They get onto the plane as flies.
Yeah, I don't like all this gross stuff.
Yeah, I feel you. As a kid, I loved this. I thought this whole thing was really funny.
Of course, I do like when the guy opens the stall and sees
Yeah.
him as a Jeff Goldblum, and
Yeah.
the quote is, "Oh, oh, oh, oh no, no, no! Ah!"
That was a really good impression.
Thank you.
It's
So
quite
it's worth
good.
it for that. Yeah, that part was
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
you know, you can see it just feels like pandering to 12-year-old boys.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was younger than even that. And what about when Tobias is in the toilet and Marco goes, "Caution, falling objects." You think that was? I
No, I
thought that
did
line was,
not. I didn't like it.
another part that I thought was really funny as a kid is when Axe tells Tobias to reassert your individual consciousness,
Yeah,
and Marco makes fun of him for it. I thought that was good as a kid.
now that I highlighted that, I still thought that was good.
That's good.
There is something very funny about him saying that, and Marco's just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, yeah. Hard to control. Oh yeah, don't worry. You can just reassert your individual consciousness.
That's pretty good. I might start
Yeah,
saying that
it is. It is pretty good.
if I can
Um,
remember.
Couple of minor points. Jake
Hmm.
remarks. You had brought this up before. Jake remarks here on how he can't tell if maybe Marco and Rachel like each other. Um.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Loved that.
Mhm.
He's like, I don't know if they really hate each other or if secretly they like and admire each other. Yeah, they're not fooling anybody. I
Well,
see
they're
it.
fooling Jake.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think he says here he's like, I'm not good with human interactions, or something. Which
Yeah.
doesn't feel in line with Jake's character, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess when it comes to romance, I don't
That's
know.
true. Yeah.
This is where
We
we also get the Elemist shout out you mentioned.
Yeah.
That's just like it's almost so casual that I mean I like it, but if you haven't read those books, then you're like, what the fuck? Like they
Yeah.
don't stop to explain it.
Yeah, no, Tobias, it's times like these I wish the Alamist hadn't given me my morphing powers back, or whatever.
It
Okay.
did make me realize that they did not. I've not been explaining that every single book, which I think is the correct
Yeah,
choice.
he's just a bird. Don't worry about it. He can morph too.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. We get a callback here to last book when Marco asked Jake, "Hey Jake, we're still like the same, right?" Jake, only this time Jake says to Marco like, "Oh, I want to go back to normal and have everything be the same and not be changed." And this time Marco kind of scoffs at it. So I don't know if the incident with his mom changed him a bit in that respect.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that as a callback, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like it. Um, a point here I have also is that the actual AOL headquarters is in New York City, so I don't. They said this is several hundred miles away from California. I feel like it's farther if this was in NYC, but they would need a plane for it.
Well, it's a 90-minute flight, which definitely is not across country.
Hmm.
I would have thought, well, like I don't know, Silicon Valley was that a thing yet?
It might have been start where yeah where did because
Or
like
maybe
this
like
is where the
Seattle.
.com bubble
Yeah,
would have
it
been.
seems like it should be there, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
and if it wasn't obvious, you just said it for the first time, kind of that WAA is AOL, but
I think I
W
said that earlier, but maybe
okay,
I glossed over it or maybe I forgot.
it's not. It's another instance of it. It is a bit weird to me when everything is the real world except for one thing.
Yeah.
But I understand. I mean, I think they could have just done it, but I guess if when they didn't want to run into any legal issues, but
Yeah.
it is a bit weird. Also, WAA is a much less catchy name.
Yeah, I don't think they ever call it WAA. I'm saying that for short, but W is so many syllables. I don't actually know if that's much shorter than Web Access America.
Yeah, you're right.
Web
Sucks.
Access
They both suck.
America W. Yeah,
What
it's
I
one.
know,
Yeah, it's Jesus.
there is one person who I think would like it. Me.
Waluigi or
Oh,
Wario.
yeah, it was gonna be Wario, but yeah, but they both
There's
like
two
it.
people. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
glad I knew where you were going.
yeah.
No.
Wow.
Wow. How do you feel about when they're going into the stalls to change and Tobias and Jake walk in together and Tobias is like, "Sorry, Jake, if this looks gay to the viewers."
Yeah, that was good. I liked that a lot.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was the 90s. Things are different
Yeah,
back then.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
So
a good podcast.
it is good. So we covered that in about a tenth the time that took us to do the other
Yeah.
three chapters.
That's good. Not much is happening here.
Yeah. So they're on the plane. We've got like a little scene. The attendant serves an in-flight meal of Salisbury steak, and Marco lands on someone's and eats it, which is, kind of funny. Um, but as the guy complains, and as they're like leaving first class, Jake gets swatted. Um, just kind of out of nowhere, right? They're just
Now,
kind of
you're
yeah,
not, to be clear, you don't mean that he was on Twitch
right.
and like some people sent a SWAT team to his house as
No,
a
no,
prank.
he gets hit by somebody's hand and smushed against the wall. I
Oh, it's a hand. It's not a swatter?
think it's a yeah, it's a hand.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't bring fly swatters on the plane.
Okay.
Um, but yeah,
Go on.
it's very much out of nowhere, right? They're just kind of chilling. You got some goofy scenes, and then all of a sudden, Jake is smushed against the wall. His legs are all broken. He's like blind in one eye. His wings are ripped off. His body is like split open with his guts spilling out, sticking him to the ceiling. And he is very quickly dying. He's like fading in and out of consciousness. He's unresponsive, not really aware of what's going on. Um, the others, as flies, they all somehow manage to like peel him off and fly his body over to the bathroom so he can demorph. Luckily, Cassie is like able to get through to him in his like delirious, dying brain and get him to do it just in time. And he demorphs in the airplane bathroom and walks off the plane as a kid. No one really notices. And everybody else demorphs. Everybody's okay, but Jake is all shaking and nauseous and kind of fucked
Just
up by the
another
whole thing.
day in the life of an Animorph.
Yeah, just another day. This is, this is a pretty fucked up scene.
It is described very horribly.
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Like
for,
she really, she's got to one up herself. She's done so much bodily trauma here that,
at this point, most of these kids have like near died and been maimed and gored like a dozen times.
yeah, yeah,
It's like they should need serious therapy. They should be hardly functional in society at this point.
yeah. Well,
They had the experience of like 12 Vietnam vets in the span of a year.
yeah, yeah. They're
And like
functional
the
in this
ones that
war.
died. like
Yeah, yeah, for real. And this book we really see because like they spend a lot more time with Jake like directly after the incident too, with him just like shaking and having chills and uh like in a way that they often don't get a chance to, because normally when they're all gored up it's in the middle of a crazy action sequence, and maybe you would see them have a nightmare in a later book or something, but here we like they're just on the plane, not like nothing happens, and so you really like you get to sit with Jake while he's freaking out too. It really hits.
it hits different.
Yeah.
As he's passing out, kind of, there's a moment where he's kind of his life is flashing before his eyes. He
Hmm.
eyes, and before his flies, more like.
Ah.
And he starts to drift off and remember when he first met Cassie, and then he like has this fucked up hallucination. But I wasn't sure if this was supposed to be leading to like, is there some mystery about how they met or something, or is this just a
Yeah,
complete nothing? I
I
don't
think
know.
it's nothing. I think maybe he was like
Because he goes
in
school. No, it was
yeah,
when
if
they
he's like, I was thinking maybe he's like flipping between school and the construction site, and it wasn't like communicated well. I
maybe,
don't know.
yeah. Yeah, but maybe I want the backstory ep. I want to see their
Yeah,
first meeting.
yeah, they're meet cute.
Yeah, they also we need to just mention that after they get off the well, actually, first of all, I also want to say, do you think flies being on a plane like that would fuck them up a little bit? Like I don't know what kind of because I know as a human, your ears pop and it can kind of like
Hmm.
some people get sick. Like for a fly, you're so small and you're used to flying around and stuff. Like would your equilibrium be all fucked up? Would you feel horrible or
Yeah, I don't know how flies do under changing air pressure. No idea.
yeah.
It's a good
All right.
question.
Well, yeah. I'm sure Kay Applegate researched it and it turns out they're fine.
Yeah, we need an animal expert on
Like
here.
I'm trying to remember, have I ever seen a fly on a plane before? I feel like it doesn't seem crazy, but
Yeah,
I
they
can't
must be on there
think of it.
sometimes.
Yeah, they have to be, but maybe they just get on and then they like are
Yeah,
they just stick in a corner because they're freaked out or something. I don't know.
yeah. Fuck this rich guy in first class who's like, excuse me, stewardess, there are flies on this plane? Fuck
Yeah.
you, dude.
Well, one of them's in his Salisbury steak, so
Right. Marco.
which he was finished eating anyway. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. It's fair
Anyway,
game.
they go to Taco Bell.
Yes, they do go to Taco Bell. I have a note about that in the next section, but we can talk. It doesn't really matter when we talk about it.
Yeah, well, they're still at the airport, right? Or does they get out of the airport? I
I
guess.
think that's when they're downtown because they like take a bus to the headquarters.
Well, either way, they mention it's cheap enough for them to afford.
Yeah,
Not anymore. It's not, kids. Sorry.
I know. I
Now,
mean,
out
you
of
can
your
still
price
get a
range.
you can still get a build a box for a
Yeah,
good,
you're right. You're
you
right.
know, they're fucking $6 by me now and not 5 anymore. But I know some people got them up to like 8 or 9, and you're still getting like 1,800 calories
The
minimum out of
other
that thing.
day, Taco Bell. The reason it's terrible for me, many
Hmm.
reasons. The other day, I made an order and look, I wanted to try. I'm sorry, I have to go on a tangent here.
Yeah,
I wanted to
that's
try.
okay.
This is important, and we have time this
Taco Bell's
episode.
important. Yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to try the new items. I don't want
right,
to date the episode, so I won't say what they were. So I got, and the new items are always upcharged because they're limited time.
right.
So look, I know I'm paying a premium for those new items, but I wanted to try them. And
Hmm.
then, but I didn't want just the two new items. I wanted like a little something extra and a drink too, of course.
Right.
So, I was gonna add on like one more thing and a drink, and it's more expensive to do that than to just get the $5 chalupa box, which comes with 3 items and a drink. So, like, financially, I had to get the $5 box. Like, in terms of value, it made more sense. And then I ended up eating like 5 times as much fucking Taco Bell, and it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like a pretty positive story to me.
Yeah, it just was like one burrito too many. That's all. Uh, anyway,
Yeah. Now,
uh,
Axe at this Taco Bell, they say he goes nuts drinking all the hot sauce out of the packets. Uh, Axe almost certainly agrees with Review Bra that their like fire sauce or whatever is the best item on the menu.
yeah, review by AK report of the week on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just I don't. People might
Fuck
just
off with
assume
that.
that's like a guy we know or something. I don't. I just want to.
Everyone knows who. If you don't know who Review Bra is, then what are you doing, man?
Well, the thing that does not make sense about this is the manager kicks them out for this.
I mean, Axe is. I don't think it's just that he's drinking. Axe is going a little nuts, I think.
I don't know. He specifically mentions the sauce, so I just.
Okay.
What fast food worker is going to give a shit about a kid like eating their sauce packets? This is
Maybe a manager, but yeah, I mean, no worker. Axe would have to actually be tearing the store apart. Like, if he wasn't damaging things or like eating other people's food, which he might have
right.
been,
Yeah, maybe. In fairness, maybe he was.
but yeah, like I don't give a shit. Eat all of it. Who cares?
Yeah. So anyway, this was a paragraph about Taco Bell, just so you know.
Yeah. Well, this kind of goes in the first 3 chapters section uh, of we don't listen.
Yeah,
Some
oh, they
things
do
are more
call.
important than others.
They definitely do call it WAA. By the way, I've got that.
Okay.
That's in here next. But yeah.
Okay, gotcha, yeah.
So yeah.
Uh, just want to say I like when Marco says, we'll take a different airline home. We'll get one that likes and appreciates flies. Just wanted to throw that out there.
That's
Uh,
nice. That's nice.
they take their bus downtown. This is when they get their Taco Bell. Um, and they tag along in a group of old people doing a tour of the building. They say kids are kind of invisible to old people unless they are their grandkids or they're being rude. So they just kind of join the tour. And we hear on the tour about Joe Bob Fenestre? How did you pronounce this?
I was in my head saying Fenestra, but
Fenestra? Fenestra sounds fine to me.
I don't know.
Joe Bob Fenestra, who is the founder of WAA. Marco does like we're not worthy bows in front of his picture because he loves him on account of he's a billionaire and Marco wants to be a billionaire. Um, they have to figure out how to get into like the command center of the building. They debate morphing people who work here, but decide against it for dubious ethical reasons. Running theme. They don't want to morph people, whatever. So instead, they make a distraction by Jake and Rachel go bear and tiger. And Jake like roars to get everyone looking, and Rachel starts mopping the floor while Jake holds the bucket. And while everyone is looking at Rachel, the bear mopping the floor, Axe and Marco slip in and steal the info they need. In true, like, dumb book spirit, Cassie has gone skunk to handle any security that may show up.
That's right.
That's right. They get the info, they get out before the SWAT team shows up, everything goes smoothly, except that Marco finds out that he has been being groomed by a 73-year-old guy pretending to be a girl under the name Party Girl 802, which I bet you were not expecting me to say. And they also find out, importantly, that Fighty 777 is actually Joe Bob Fenestra himself. The plot thickens.
This is a lot. This is a lot that you just went through.
It is a lot, yes. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, for starters, there's no way AOL gave tours of their headquarters or that anyone would want to take one. Like, what are you? There's not. What do you see? A bunch of computers and cubicles. There's nothing there. It's not cool. There's not like a magic factory with a little yellow stick figure guy dancing around.
I don't know, man. I could see some weirdo boomers being like, "This is where they do the thing."
I guess. I mean,
yeah, to be fair, at least if you like tour a beer factory, they give you free beer samples or whatever. I don't like. What are they going to give you? Those like 1,000 hours free of AOL discs at the end?
They sure are. Oh,
I already got that.
Now, oh man, classic. Let's talk about Joe Bob Fenestre.
Yeah, let's talk about him.
So, is the idea here Fenestra like window? Is that the joke?
Yeah, I was wondering if there wasn't like a
because we all know defenestrate.
Yeah. Like I was wondering if you were like, okay, you've got Fenestra as like a window, but also as like a part of a house as an analog for gate, and then Joe Bob is sort of a folksy name like Bill. I don't know. That's the best I got. But
yeah, Joe
that's
Bob.
Also not AOL.
Yeah, no, it's not. I knew nothing. Joe Bob, I didn't have anything for. I just figured window.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, there's windows in AOL, right?
It's true. Yeah.
It's got to be that, but it's weird. It's not like most people don't have in Animorphs. This doesn't happen. You don't have that many pun names usually, so it's kind of
yeah.
I don't. It seems like it must be intentional because it's too weird of a name to just make up.
I don't know. Maybe this is just a weird name she came up with, like all the other ones.
Yeah, it could be that too. So do we think in modern times Marco would stand Donald Trump and Elon Musk?
I mean, I specifically have the phrase Reddit beard Elon simp in my notes. I think Marco might have been an Elon stan before he bought Twitter. I think once he bought Twitter and fucked it up for everyone, Marco would hate him. But I don't think he'd be
Yeah.
one of the weirdo blue checks still on his side. But
It does. It fits. I mean, it makes sense. Marco does just want to be a cool rich guy,
yeah,
and he probably
Marco,
loves the movie Blank Check.
he's almost certainly into crypto.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he would be one of the only people into it for the real reasons. Like, because when it comes to crypto, it's kind of like, listen, this is a scam. So either you are scamming people or you are being scammed.
Yeah.
If you're not scamming someone, you know what you are. But Marco, if you said that to me, it'd be like, well, yeah, I'm that's what I'm doing.
Well, he's got the faster computers, so he can.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that covered. Okay. Well, I'll just say that there's also a good line. Marcus says they're the best animals, and Axe says, "How do you define best? We alone of all the animals have the ability to create TV shows."
Yeah, it's true.
Pretty funny.
There's some.
Yeah.
Or yeah, what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say we haven't. At one point, we said we were gonna do our favorite Marco jokes at the end of the show. We never did this. Kept doing that. But
yeah, we didn't. And
maybe
these
that's
are too
fine.
good. Yeah, maybe it's fun. There's some good, some good dumb jokey stuff here. I like the guy who goes, "I'm not nuts. It's the bear who's nuts. That's carpeted up there."
Pretty funny.
I like that. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like when the SWAT guys come in and he's like, "Did you kids see a bear?" And Rachel goes, "Yeah, right, a bear." It's pretty good. It's good.
Yeah. Did you like when Tobias says, "I'm just a birdie"?
Oh, I loved when Tobias said, "I'm just a birdie."
I'm just a birdie too. That's a Kung Pao quote.
Yeah. I liked when Rachel suggests as a distraction they could set the place on fire.
Yes. Pretty good. Classic Rachel.
Yeah. I also, what I don't like is the website Seropedia. Now, I'm going to
What do
quote
those fuckers do this time?
a goof or inconsistency from this section. Rachel in Grizzly Morph handles a mop, which requires a dexterity that bears don't have, as they lack opposable thumbs.
Oh, come on.
Like, fuck off.
A
That's
bear
like
can
a
hold
parody
a mop.
of what a nerd would say. Like, what loser wrote that in?
That's just straight up the xylophone made two different tones. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like that's your problem. They're all staring at the bear mopping the floor, and not one person notices Marco and X just running behind them on the computer. And your problem is a bear couldn't hold a mop. Like, come on, it's a dumb joke scene. It's funny.
Someone get these fucking nerds to bed.
Yeah, bad website.
Do we need to get into this fucking shit?
Probably not. I mean, I think it does kind of read here like Jake goes along with it because he thinks Cassie's cute. We all know what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah, so Cassie again saying let's not morph humans because that's unethical.
Yeah.
I don't want to. We don't need to beat this dead horse. We'll save that for another Cassie book.
Yeah, at some point maybe it'll come up to a point we have to
morph into a horse. Is what I meant.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I do want to say, I just fundamentally disagree with this notion. First of all, so it just bothers me when it comes up repeatedly because I just feel like it's just whatever. But
yeah.
I feel like specifically in this instance, a big part of this choice of them saying you're right, we'll be no better than Yerks if we morph humans,
Hmm.
is because if they just morphed humans, like 90% of their missions would be much easier.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
and then
I
you
feel
wouldn't.
you.
It's not cool. Like morphing into an animal is cool. It's not like fun to just morph into a
Yeah.
guy, but it would just be. Then you could have like Mission Impossible spy shit, and I feel
Yeah.
like I would be into that, but it would become a different series.
Yeah. Yeah. Where every book you'd realize that somebody was like secretly like we see Visser 3 in Human Morph, but it seems like he really only has one. Like you're not seeing like every book. It's like, oh shit, this guy was Visser 3 in Morph or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. So I think that's partially why it bothers me because it feels
Hmm.
like this is a choice not made organically by the characters, but made
Hmm.
because it has to be made for the sake of the book.
Yeah, like I think I've hinted at this before, and I can't talk about it till basically the very end of the series. I do think there's a real idea at the heart of this that Kay Applegate has but Kay Applegate herself does not really know what the idea is and hasn't fleshed out, and she's just kind of making Cassie say it. And of course, Cassie's
Right.
thing doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense in her head either. I do think there's something coming from that. We can talk about it at the end, but I also think you're probably right. There's got to be some sense of like, well, they can't morph humans because then they
That
just do that. They wouldn't be animal
yeah.
morphers.
Right. Now, to be fair, I did last book complain that Cassie like brings up an argument and then they just do it anyway. So at least in this book, I mean, it forced
Hmm.
them to like be more creative. So I can't be, I guess I can't be too mad at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody who read the series as a kid was at some point irritated at Cassie for continuously making this a thing when it didn't make sense. So
Yeah, no
that's normal.
controllers work here, by the way, because why would they? Why would they work in a internet security headquarters? I mean,
Hmm.
it's just not valuable for a yerk. They're
Yeah.
just not worried. They just say like, yeah, I'm sure there aren't any controllers here, and there aren't. Why?
Yeah, I mean, you would. It's not like they wouldn't. They'd be like, "Oh, the Andalites must be trying to break in." But yeah, you'd think somebody might have pulled a gun on them or something. And I
Are
don't know.
yerks nationwide? It does kind of seem like they're centralized to California.
Yeah, I feel like they are. I feel like they have not spread out as far as they should have. I do. A little bit of a spoiler. The movement was started in California. Like the Yerk infestation sharing covert thing was started, like basically where they are. By Visser One. Uh, so in theory, maybe it's like they should have spread nationwide, but Visser 3 has bungled it. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, yeah, should we talk about Pretty Girl 802 now?
Oh, I read it as Party Girl. It's PRTY Girl.
Oh, you're right, huh?
Could be either.
You're probably right. Yeah, I'm just thinking because girls are pretty.
Right. Yeah. It makes sense. Now, uh,
I've never been to a party with a girl, so that didn't make sense to me.
right. Same.
Yeah, so as you said, we learned that Marco was being groomed by a predator.
We sure do. It's just a throwaway joke. Lol.
I mean, if you want an illustration of how different things were in the 90s,
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess it's like this is almost. It's just like that's the joke that you made when the internet was first starting was it's a
Right.
guy pretending to be a girl. That's the joke.
Yeah. It's some
You
old guy.
usually well, yeah, I guess some old guy, 73-year-old retired postal worker is a bit more specific.
I feel like I always heard like he's some old gross fat guy or something.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Like it
guess
was always like you're trying to conjure the most like bleh, I don't want to have sex with that mental image.
I guess I would think like 40s or 50s, not like a
That's
fucking they're in a nursing home like
that's reasonable, yeah.
I don't know. My dad's like 75. He's not in a nursing home.
What
He
are you
should be
doing?
though.
Get him in there.
Yeah, I'm so fucking sick of seeing him. Um, but yeah, it's like it's like the equivalent of making a drop the soap joke about prison. That's like
Right, yeah.
was just at one point so ubiquitous. Even that still isn't exactly uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like not normalized. It's people will still make that joke and not think twice
Yeah.
about it, but this I think has not. You couldn't make this joke now and just have
Yeah.
it be a joke.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I mean, and maybe part of that is because people still think of like prisoners as like somehow lesser or whatever. Right, where it's
yeah,
like internet people are all weirdos and freaks or something, but nowadays it's like no, internet people's everybody. And so if you most people are like, well, I grew up online and maybe someone legitimately groomed someone I knew. So
yeah,
it's a little more real, easier to empathize.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I should have changed my name to Party Girl 802.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Also, I don't think we said this before, but for anyone who isn't reading the book, Fighty 777, who we learned is Joe Bob,
Mhm.
it's spelled Fitey,
Yeah.
as in I named the big one Fighty. So,
What's that from?
that was it was The Simpsons, but he says I named the big one
Hmm.
Bitey.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I made
I
it
know it here.
Fighty. I made it
Yeah,
Fighty.
that's good.
Anyway, I don't know what that screen name is about either. That's kind of a stupid screen name.
He fights Yerks. I don't know. Listen, most screen names are fucking stupid.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, 777 because he's lucky.
Yeah, lucky fighty. Um, so to go back home, they're gonna have to take a plane again, and that means morphing flies again. Um, Jake is scared. He's trying not to show it, but he's like sweating and shaking. He's got like chills and all that. Cassie pulls him aside and tries to like talk to him. And they have what is like a very frank discussion about trauma and fear and the nature of leadership. Um, it's a pretty,
Boring.
yeah, it's a good chapter though. I really like this. But anyway, they do more flies. They go back. Everything's fine. No problems. Nothing goes wrong. That night, Jake figures he should research Joe Bob Fenestra, since his mansion is like actually nearby, and they could go check out like what's he doing in this chat room. Um, but his mom's making salmon. There's like a fight on Showtime, and he ends up spending the evening with his family instead of doing prep work. Um, the next day, Jake and the Animorphs convene. They discuss what to do. Cassie wants to go find Gump since he has been confirmed to be a 9-year-old kid, and she wants to protect him. But Jake decides that Fenestra is the priority, even though he hasn't like done his research. So tomorrow, Monday, after school, they're going to go check him out. Um, so this is the part of the book that really just kind of slows down to get like philosophical, right? About like war and horror and like Jake making decisions. Um,
Yeah.
I think there's so in book 11 we had this through line with like Jake being like I have to make decisions and what if they're wrong and everything's fucked up, and I didn't really like it or feel it. I think in this book she hits the nail on the head with it. I think it really works here for me.
I'm just just here. This is great, and you're right. And it's like, oh yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
it's philosophical, and the introspective,
sure.
and my next note is peanut butter on a graham cracker, normal snack.
You've got a point. We can take an aside to talk about that right now, because Tom eats peanut butter on a graham cracker. Weird. What the fuck?
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were gonna go like, oh yeah, I
No.
eat that all the time.
No, that's weird. That's fucking weird. And I'm the guy who's like, yeah, peanut butter. You just get a giant hunkin' spoon of peanut butter out of the jar and eat that, and that could be like your in between meal. On a graham cracker?
But I don't think that sounds bad. I think that could be good. I've just never heard of it before.
It's yeah, I guess it's
Like
weird.
like peanut butter and crackers, that's definitely a thing. So it's not like much of a leap.
Yeah, but there's no like the graham crackers kind of crumbly and sweet. Like the peanut
Hmm.
butter's supposed to be like the mushy sweet part, and then the crackers
Yeah.
more of the
I mean,
hard.
I'm gonna try it. I've
Okay,
for next episode, I'm gonna try it and I'll report back.
okay, thank you.
Now, anyway, but back to what you were saying about the nature of trauma and war. Yeah, that is it's very well done. It's presented. Yeah,
Hmm.
eloquent.
Yeah, no, I think one of the things that really makes it work here for me, well, the two main things that make it work here for me as opposed to in book 11 are that number one, in that one, like we're all centered around Jake's decision to spur of the moment steal this bug fighter. And you're kind of like, we see the bug fighter, we steal it, we go. But here you kind of get like a lot more build up, like, oh, do I make this decision to get back on this plane or not, having seen the consequences? Do I make the decision to go save Gump or go check out Joe Bob Finestra, given that we've got this information? And it takes time, and you get to like see the process of making it. And the second thing is that there's like actual consequences, right? Like the book 11 at the end, they're like, what are the consequences of his decision? Well, it could have been that they all died, but nothing. It was literally nothing. It didn't happen. He didn't make the whatever. But like rewrite it. But here it's kind of like no, like we saw him get smushed. He really risked actually getting smushed again. He's actually making this decision, and whatever happens here is actually happening.
Yeah, I think in general, is this one of the longer books? It feels long
I don't
to
know if
me.
it's.
It's like
I
150
don't.
pages, which I guess is
Yeah,
average.
it's. I think it's average. I think it's just there's a lot less. I accidentally spent 3 chapters talking about what it was like to morph.
Yeah, maybe that's it. There's just more in it. Less stuff is
Yeah.
like spread out, but it does feel like the pacing in this book is really good, and it takes more time to breathe than some of the other ones do.
Hmm.
Here, and I thought the ending too. None of it really felt rushed, and yeah, it definitely helps the stakes feel more important here in this plot.
Yeah. Um, I like the part where Cassie is telling Jake that it's okay to be scared, and he says, people say they want leaders to be just like them, but I don't think so. People want leaders to act the way they wish they could act themselves. Marco and Rachel and Tobias and Axe don't want me to give them permission to be scared. They want me to help them to be brave. There's
Yeah.
like it's good stuff.
Yeah. Jake's seen some shit.
Yeah,
He's a smart kid now.
it's good because she's finding Jake since I was bored with Jake in the other books.
Yeah, I agree with that. He doesn't seem super boring in this book.
Yeah.
Um, they also going back to food though.
Hmm.
He also explains what tiramisu is. I guess kids don't
Yeah.
maybe know what tiramisu is.
Sure.
I don't know. But now I want to put on my let me put on my Seropedia hat for a minute.
Oh yeah. Do it.
Duh, duh.
That's problematic.
Sorry, I started drooling. No, it's fine. Uh, this is like we said. This is a big choice. Gump v Finestra.
Hmm.
I don't know that you need all 6 people to go check on a 9-year-old. Can you
Yeah.
send 1 or 2 and everyone else handle the other thing?
Yeah. I can definitely agree with that to some extent. Although another part of it is Jake being all like, I am messing up my work-life balance, so to speak. Like I am spending a night in with my like. Is it okay to go check out Finestra's mansion, given that I haven't done any research on it and I was supposed to, and I spent the time with my family instead?
Yeah. It's certainly a far cry from start of chapter like the next day we were at the mission. We just had to go now because we didn't have time. We're there, or
Yeah.
whatever they do. I also really like this description when they're eating dinner of him talking to his brother
Hmm.
and how he says the Yerk found the answer that Tom would have made. It aimed at Tom's eyes and made Tom's face smile sardonically. All that stuff was very creepy and
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
And very well written, I thought. That
They do a
first.
good job of Jake being like Jake's feelings on his brother here for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
which doesn't really, I feel like it would be easy to make every Jake book a Tom book.
yeah.
And we haven't really seen Tom much like since the first couple books. He's like isn't that important really.
Yeah,
Which does kind
there.
of surprise me. I feel like that should come up more.
I'm wondering if there isn't some like overlap with Marco's mom, where like where how do I do this plot line again, but have it be different, and also Visser 1 can kind of fail and come back because she's Visser 1, but if Tom fails, Visser 3 kills him, and like, what am I gonna, how do I not make that happen?
Right.
There could be some issues with just figuring out how to write it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I assume it's going to come up at some point. But is this where also we find out that Yerk Hater is Edward Cheltenham?
Oh, yes, I believe it is.
So that's just another fun name.
Yeah, although it is revealed to be probably a fake name.
Oh, yeah. Probably a fake name. Yeah. 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 Edward Cheltenham.
Yes.
Cheltenham.
Yeah, he's a Brit.
Cheltenham. Oi,
Oi, governor.
I hate these bloody yerks, mate. Oi,
Yeah.
if a yerk comes into my pub, pop him in the nose, stuff him in me lorry.
Yeah, pop him in the gob.
Oi, Bob's your uncle, mate.
That's what they sound like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I
anything
guess
else?
they go out to this mansion.
Yeah, let's get to this mansion.
They fly out as birds, and they see when they get there that he has Joe Bob has shitloads of like security everywhere. But like it shouldn't matter because they're all animals, right? They figure they'll fly in through like an open window, go bug, see what they can see. Rachel flies in and she gets hit with some kind of, I don't know, electric field, who knows what thing. It makes a zap sound. And she's unconscious or possibly even dead. They don't know. But they see her get hit by this thing, crumple up, and they're like, oh shit, pull off, pull off. So they all fly, and the guards all of a sudden, they all start opening fire on the birds. And alarms are going off. Axe gets shot by a bullet. He goes down. Tobias and Cassie and Jake are like trying to drag him to safety, but guards with dogs show up and, they have to leave him or they'll all end up dead. So very, very quickly, Axe and Rachel are captured or possibly dead and everything's fucked. And they retreat to a Wendy's rooftop. Everyone's panicking.
Oh,
Jake's
yeah.
blaming himself for going in blind, because it's his decision. Marco's kind of agreeing. Yeah, like follow up on the decision thing. You fucked it up, and now everything's fucked. This is the second time this book we've had things go like 0 to 100 in terms of catastrophe, right?
Yeah, pretty quick. I was kind of confused at this part. As you said, it's not clear. I reread it and I was like, what happened to Rachel? Did I miss something? Like, it's not really well defined.
Yeah.
It literally just says sap. And then it's like Rachel's down. I'm like, she gets shot? Like, I was so confused.
Yeah, no, I went back and reread it because I was like, so what exactly was it? And it's not exact. We don't really know.
I guess it was like a force field or like something.
Yeah.
An electric barrier of some kind or like a big bird zapper.
Yeah, like a bug zapper for birds. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah. And yeah, this is a whole ass thing. I mean, two of the Animorphs are just, we don't know where they are. It's like, yeah.
Right off the bat. Yeah, and they're talking about like, Well, we got like what is it, an hour and a half to get him back because at that
Yeah.
like they're either dead or they're captured and they're not going to demorph. And like Tobias is even bringing up like being trapped in bird morph. Like, what if Rachel's trapped in that bird morph and the morph is hurt too bad to save? And
And
she's like, well, I'm
meanwhile,
not going to demorph. I'll just let myself die.
Tobias is like, oh, yeah, baby. Oh,
Yeah.
I sure hope she doesn't get trapped as a bird, that hot bird. Oh, no.
How awful. A majestic bald eagle.
I'd have to teach her how to be a bird and maybe feed
Mm.
her voles in her mouth.
Wow. Regurgitate worms or whatever. Do
Uh,
falcons regurgitate food to their chicks? Probably.
I assume all birds do it, or at
Yeah.
least all, I don't know about like a fucking emu, but probably.
Yeah. I should be more of a bird expert, clearly. I'm
Yeah.
not up on my bird lore.
Now, you remember how there's a rhino on the cover of this book?
Yes, there is a rhino.
I wonder why that was.
Well, they've got no time to waste. They've got no time for like subtlety. So Jake's like, okay, fine, fuck it. I have an idea. He flies out to the garden with Tobias to get a rhino morph. He like literally lands on the rhino's back and demorphs while Tobias steals a little girl's cotton candy as a distraction and acquires it. It's like, fuck it, quick and dirty. Um, Now I don't. Do you have anything to say about this in particular before I say the next chunk because it's a big chunk?
Yeah, about the rhino and all
Yeah,
that.
I have one
Yeah.
note. So
What's your one note?
the rhino has a line of dialogue which is uh
Okay. Okay, good.
huh.
You've
So what?
said your piece.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a couple thoughts.
Okay. Okay.
As you said, oh yeah, we have no time to waste. Well, apparently you do have some time to waste because this is a waste of time.
How do you propose they go in?
Bear, elephant. Oh, we can't have an elephant.
Rachel's.
But still,
Yeah, they don't
whatever.
have Rachel.
How about that? Gorilla, tiger. Later in the book, Marco as a gorilla does bust down doors.
I mean,
You don't
here's
need
the
a
thing.
rhino for
Here's
this.
the thing.
You don't need this.
No. Here's the thing. If you shoot a gorilla or a tiger with a gun, you can kill it.
Okay.
Legitimately, if you shoot a rhino with a pistol, you cannot kill it.
When has this ever stopped them before? They go up against Yerks with laser beams as fucking gorillas, and they've never given a shit about that.
Right, well, they don't have to bust their way through like 10 lines of security with like fences and blah, blah, blah.
It just seems when you have 90 minutes, maybe your best course of action isn't let me stop at the zoo. Like, you fucking go with what you have.
He calculated the time it would take to go get the rhino and come back, and he figured out that he would have, I believe they say, 10 minutes to spare when he gets back. And that would be enough if he had a rhino.
This really feels like the ultimate of just at this point, it just seems like between all of them, they have all the animals they need. And this is just like, we have to put something new on the cover. Just, he's a rhino, okay? He's a fucking rhino. Why? I don't know, because he just has to be, okay?
Look, they suggest alternatives. They suggest being like bugs and explain why bugs can't sneak in time. And they tell you they've got anti-bug security. Right, the security. You need an animal that's so tough that like no amount of security is stopping it.
Okay, whatever.
I guess Cassie could have morphed whale. They could have dropped her on top like they did the Valik.
Yeah,
Smash the house in.
There's options, but this also does confirm it's canon that sometimes animals just don't go into a trance. Because he says, approaching the rhino, he's like, I hope it does, because sometimes they don't. So
Yeah,
it's now just
only,
established.
There's only one, but it could be like I saw it happen once.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know. Like, yeah, you are right, but I like cannot think of any other instances where it actually happens.
Yeah, well, it's just something you got to be aware of from now on.
We'll keep an eye
Um,
out. We'll look.
I also, what I don't know, I like this line. Unfortunately, there are people stupid enough to think rhino horn is a medicine. Does that seem? I feel like that's maybe racist. It feels like that's like there's like tribes somewhere that believe in like ancient medicinal things that I don't know. We shouldn't be calling them stupid for their
Hmm.
practices.
Yeah, I want to go make that same human horn Futurama reference again. Now.
Okay, that was my rhinos. You can now
Okay, good.
get to the climax stick
All right.
scenes.
All right. Well, I mean, I just most of this is just some more action sequences, but there's some good
Yeah.
moments, and then we can get to the real like big climax here. So like I said, 10 minutes to spare. Jake goes rhino and he just runs through the compound. He can't really see, so all the others have to guide him. Like smash through the gate, smash through the dogs, smash through the guards. He gores like at least two people who definitely die. Um, like for sure, he's like hurling them with his horn. Smash through the wall, smash through the doors. They're in the house. Tobias finds a guarded room and tries to draw them off. So now he's getting chased around the house by guys with guns blowing holes in the wall. Um, Jake can't climb the stairs, so he goes human then tiger, and Marco and Cassie go battle morphs as well. They run up to the guards in front of the room, and there's like a standoff. And Jake decides to talk to them, and he's like, "Listen, man, I don't know if you can kill me before I kill you, but I do know you're not getting paid enough for this." And the guards are like, "The hell no, we're not. Fuck this talking tiger shit." And they walk off and they get into the guarded room. Um,
Yeah, shit's just going wild now.
yeah, just rampaging. There's a lot of pages there that's just Jake smashes this, Jake smashes that.
Yeah, Jake talks to people as a tiger. Dogs and
Mm,
cats living together. Mass
mass
hysteria.
hysteria. Yeah. That was
Uh,
in sync on my end. I don't know if it will be.
oh well, yeah, maybe it will. Let's hope.
Let's hope.
um, yeah, but yeah, it's it's a pretty good, and I like that it's a long action scene. It does feel again, sorry, but it feels a little video gamey.
Mm,
No,
I can
you
see it.
know, like act maybe because it feels like this is a level that they're kind of going through. But I like that you kind of can see it in your head. Sometimes they have
Mm,
these fights and it's just a hallway or something, and this
yeah.
is a little more interesting that there's more space, more ground to cover.
Yeah. I mean, it could also be that, like, all the destruction's on the environment. It's not. She doesn't have to
Mm.
spend the whole time being like, and then I sliced a guy's guts open, and then I ripped off his head, and it's like, no, no. And then Jake smashed the wall, and then some guy shot him, but then he just tossed him.
Yeah, yeah. He does get a bullet in him, and
Yeah.
it comes out of him when he demorphs.
Yeah, this is one of the other things that I was in my head earlier when you would ask, like, what happens to mass in you when you demorph. I was remembering this scene in particular.
Yeah, and as
Um,
well as he says, it's by good luck.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if the bullet penetrated deep enough to still be in his human body, he'd be dead as a rhino.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I
the
don't
whole
know.
point is
That's
that it wouldn't.
interesting. Interesting how that may or may not work. And I'm a big fan of his line as he's mid morph when he says, "No chime cleft."
Yeah, that's the third image on the cover. That's how that thing talks. Just half Jake, half Rhino with the hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Your
I love
friend,
it.
the Rhino monster.
It's kind of like Rocksteady, right? Or Bebop. I don't remember which one is which.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know which one's which either. I
I
see
know.
it. I see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. The climax. Um, they break into the room. They see Rachel and Axe apparently dead, with Joe Bob Fenestra standing there with a Dracon beam, and there is a mini Yerk pool in the room. So it seems he is a Yerk, even though all these guys outside clearly weren't. Uh, Joe Bob reveals that Axe and Rachel are not dead, but in biostasis, and he's a bit confused that Andalites wouldn't recognize biostasis when they see it. He also reveals that he is a human controller, but he claims he and his host are on good terms because he made WAA and made them rich. But he doesn't understand why Andalites would want him specifically dead since he has been exiled. Uh, his Yerk's name is Esplin 9466, the Lesser. The double means he is a twin. His brother, the Prime, is, surprise, Visser 3, and he hates him. He's jealous. The Visser 3 is jealous that he did so much for the invasion with WAA and exiled him to die of Kandrona starvation, but he has found a way to survive without the Kandrona. Which is why Visser 3 hasn't just had him killed yet. He wants to know. So, the method is Joe Bob is a cannibal. He has been using the Yerk Resistance website to find other human controllers, at which point he abducts them, kills them, removes the Yerk from their brain, grinds it up, and processes it into some kind of Kandrona product that he can consume with his human mouth. And he kills one person every 3 days to do this. Which is also, I bet, not where you were expecting this to go if you haven't read this book.
Wasn't on my bingo card.
Yeah. So Jake ends up making a deal with him, and he gives, Joe Bob gives them back Rachel and Axe, and Jake lets him live. And he says he's safe as long as he stays in the house, but if they find him outside, they'll kill him. So first point here, this is a kid's book. They did put Jeffrey Dahmer in a kid's book, like pretty explicitly.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of insane, right?
I was going to say he's kind of like Dexter.
Yeah, okay, I could see it.
Yeah, Dexter's a serial killer who kills other serial killers.
Right.
This guy's a Yerk who kills other Yerks.
Kills other Yerks, yeah.
He also just incidentally kills innocent humans, too.
Yeah, like he about as explicitly as they could get away with, they say he kills the humans.
Yeah, it is. Could they not get away with it?
It is.
They sure talk about death all the time.
They sure do. Maybe the active idea about like killing a child and removing their brain and grinding it up and eating it was like they didn't want to spell it out.
Yeah. I was like, well, what? I'm sure he just takes the Yerk out of their head and goes on his way.
Yeah, that's all he does.
But apparently not. I mean, there's a lot of fascinating stuff being revealed here because I feel we have, I don't maybe jokingly talked about the idea of a Yerk and a human having a good relationship.
Yeah.
Words. I don't remember if we actually saw that anywhere else before this, or if that was just an idea we discussed. But
yeah,
here we
I feel like this
is
the first time that we've actually seen it. Yeah.
I think it must be, and so that in itself, and I mean, you use the word claim, so I suppose we're hearing from the Yerk. Technically, we don't know. Maybe this Yerk is lying, and maybe the real Joe Bob isn't on board with all this.
Yeah, like when he says he's partners with the human, Jake's like Yerks don't have partners, and Esplin the Lesser doesn't fight it. So like maybe he was lying, but like in my headcanon, right? They are right.
I believe him. I it makes sense to me because. I mean, this guy gets to just be rich and hang out, and they both kind of are. He doesn't have to like. His family's not enslaved. Like,
yeah. Do you remember that? I mean, you do. In Bones and All, the guy who wasn't an eater, but who hung around with one anyway because he was like a sick fuck and he liked watching people get murdered and eaten.
Yeah.
Do you think Joe Bob is like, dude, I love this, like, killing people and eating their brain shit. This fucking rules. And, like, you can do it and I can experience it and get away with it.
Be.
Like,
I guess it's kind of like, to put it in symbiote terms, it's kind of like Carnage.
Mm-hmm.
And like, Venom is a bad symbiote, but sometimes will take over somebody and he can kind of be used as a force for good. Carnage takes over the body of a pre-existing serial killer, so he just turns into
Right.
this fucking monster.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I think Joe Bob's got to be fucked up on some level to be okay with this, or
Yeah,
he's
I think
just yeah, he's not just holding his nose like I gotta watch him murder these people. It's worth
it's,
it.
it's interesting that K. Applegate has predicted adrenochrome here.
Why am I? What's adrenochrome?
It's in the in Pizzagate. The rich people they murder children and they harvest. It's called adrenochrome. It's some substance made from like adrenaline or whatever. So they when they abduct the children, they like torture them to death horrifically so they can get the adrenochrome, and then the adrenochrome prolongs your life. It lets you live forever. So this is like a part of what the Pizzagate conspiracy is about.
Okay,
Is that rich people do this? We have a
okay.
sitting U.S. senator who believes this. I just want to throw that for anyone who thinks that the world we live in is reasonable.
Good to note. Good to note. Relevant to the Animorphs.
Yeah.
And this is okay. So that already is pretty out there. And then we have the bombshell that this is Visser 3's brother,
Yes. Twin.
his twin brother, right? Not that
Yes.
that. I mean, all Yerks look the same to me, but sure.
Whoa.
He's got this is Visser 3's. This is his Mycroft, kind of.
Yeah.
Right? This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like,
I hear you.
I mean, this is a good new wrinkle that isn't fucking crazy. We didn't have to introduce a new dimension or anything, but it's a pretty big deal that, and the idea that they're even beyond him being Visser 3's brother, that there's like a Yerk who's not necessarily aligned with all the other Yerks. Up until
Yeah.
now, all the Yerks have pretty much just been
Yeah.
we all we care about is this war. We're soldiers.
Yeah.
This is just like a guy.
We met the one guy who was mad about Visser 3 killing his beloved other Yerk or whatever. But he was like anti Visser 3, but otherwise just in with the war effort.
Right.
This guy is very much just out for himself. He is his own guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's not a human sympathizer, clearly. No. But he doesn't care about the Yerks. He's a pretty fascinating character.
Yeah, he's really cool.
9466.
The lesser. Going forward, we will say not Esplin 9466 more and more, and it will always mean Visser 3 pretty much. So gotta make sure you say the lesser.
They do have the same name. I wasn't sure. I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, the double six means it would. I guess he would just be Esplin 946. I guess.
If this guy must have really hated his life when Visser 3 was like Visser 37 or whatever, or sub Visser 37. Yeah. Like how bad are his delegations if he doesn't even get to be a sub Visser?
Yeah, I mean he's probably just sitting around in the pool.
Yeah, he's probably in a Ged.
The horror.
Yeah, I don't know. So this is crazy. I feel like there's probably stuff you can't say to me for spoilers, but I'm interested to see where and if this goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess I will say it doesn't go enough places. This guy's mentioned again, but I would have loved to have seen more of him going forward. Than we do.
Yeah, this is giving me. I don't know. This guy is a fascinating guy.
Yeah, no, he's cool. Maybe I shouldn't say the serial killer is cool, but I like him.
Yeah, no, he is cool. He's kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah. Now, there's a whole bit in here where Cassie is like outraged and kind of wants to kill him on the spot. But she also kind of wants Jake to do it for her. Like, once again, her morals are kind of making her a
Mm,
hypocrite. Like, she is not okay with letting him go, but she also, like, kind of isn't okay with just killing a guy. Um,
mm.
and there's a bit here where Jake is, like, almost ready to say it's totally cool if this guy goes on serial killing as long as he's taking out Yerks, and he's kind of, like, horrified at himself for it. Um,
Yeah.
like, there's some good lines in here. There's a bit where Cassie says, that kid Gump, that kid who was worried about his dad, that lonely little kid, that's who this monster goes after, Jake. Not some abstract person with no face and no name. And there's also a bit when they get out at the end and Rachel asks, was he a good guy or a bad guy? And Jake says, I don't even know which I am anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It's good
deep.
stuff.
Yeah, it's I don't know what I feel like is the right I, I am I usually like the kind of pacifist
Hmm.
like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and goes through a whole thing, or he doesn't want to
Hmm.
have to kill the Fire Lord, and that I kind of like that. But the problem is, and I mean, this is you can get into the nuance of it, I suppose, but the Animorphs have pretty explicitly killed lots of
Yes.
people before.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's when it gets harder to justify, oh, but this is a thing in so many
Yeah.
movies and things, like, all the time, where it's you kill people in the heat of battle, but when you have them at
Hmm.
your mercy, it's immoral. And usually I agree with it. Like, I get it to some extent. So,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is there's like a little bit of a conclusion here, but I can say this now. One thing that I really like about the ending of this book and Animorphs in general is that there's not really a resolution to, like you're saying, in a lot of things you'd say, oh, in this case it's moral, in this case it's immoral. But in Animorphs, they never really say that. They kind of present you these cases, and the what the series seems to posit very much so is that there isn't an answer, right? It's not all of a sudden okay, to or like not okay to kill them just because they're at your mercy, or it wasn't okay to kill them just because, but also you have to. Like, there's not an answer to this. There is no answer to this. Um, I love it when there's some kind of ethical conundrum or like a dispute between characters, uh, and we do see Cassie and Jake have kind of a rift over this, and they never really quite come to terms with it. And I love when Animorphs does this, and it does it multiple times. Like, it's a lot like it feels very real. Like, you just kind of have to learn to live with things. Like, there's not always an answer. It's not something that can be worked out. It's not always easy. It does make things end up feeling kind of bleak at times, and I think the ending of this book feels kind of bleak.
This is the kind of, we already discussed my The Simpsons incident in a previous episode, but the kind of thing that as a kid, when things would be unresolved, would like drive me nuts.
Hmm.
But how much of that do you think is intentional versus being a byproduct of, it's a kid's book, so there's kind of a soft reset each book, so we just don't go
Um,
back to it or
at a
rehash it.
certain point, it's extremely intentional.
Okay.
I think you could make the argument that there are times early on when she's like when it just kind of happens, but I do think by the end of the series, the fact that it's intentional that there is no resolution, I think that will be undeniable by the time it's over, at least on
Okay.
a large scale, and it makes me more likely to read these small scale things as being that way too.
Okay, that's good, because I agree that's usually like the best stuff, because that's how
Hmm.
life is. And yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, sometimes it can veer into, like, I hope they don't. I like when they discuss these things, even if they don't come to a resolution. I'd like to have
Hmm.
the characters hash it out
Hmm.
still.
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah, yeah. It's good. It's
yeah,
done. It's done well in this instance.
yeah. There's just like a little conclusion here. We get like a scene with Jake at home sitting outside on his porch and looking at the stars, and his mom comes out to talk to him. There's some good lines in there. And then like the next day, Cassie isn't at school. She has gone to find Gump and warn him about his dad. You know, she turned into a wolf, told him she was magic, and said, "Don't trust your dad." And she feels like shit because she just told this little kid to like not that his father can't be trusted. Um, but she doesn't know what else to do about it. And she and Jake still aren't really talking to each other over this whole thing. Um, Days later, someone burns down Joe Bob's house, invalidating Jake's promise, because Jake said you're only safe as long as you're in the house, and somebody has burned down the house. The book says it could have been Visser 3, it could have been Cassie, could have been Jake, but he won't tell you who did it. So there's some implication that maybe Jake did it to sort of, I don't know, find a resolution, but it doesn't tell you. And then finally, like a week later, Jake comes by to Cassie's barn and they put a splint on a deer with a broken leg and they just kind of start talking again, which is kind of what I was saying. Like there's not any real resolution between them over this rift. They just kind of learn to live with it, that it was there, and they go back to what is sort of normal. And the book ends on this statement: "We were us again for now." Which, like, in its presentation is just, like, yeah. I was going to say about it being very bleak, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's pretty ominous.
It definitely is. I think we've had a few of these scenes where it's been like
Hmm.
they sit around doing normal stuff, and that somebody's like, it's nice to just be normal for once,
Yeah.
because they
Yeah,
need that.
and it does make me think of the conversations that Jake and Marco were having these last two books about, like, can you go back to being
Hmm.
normal? Uh,
Yeah, I not no,
no.
not after this fucking shit. You cannot. No, I think this
Yeah.
book seals the deal. If it wasn't one of the other ones, by at this point, they're past it.
Yeah, I mean,
There,
the Elemis stuff, you can learn about that. It won't change your world too much,
that's
but
fine. But a
this,
bear mopping a carpet, you're gone.
yeah,
You're done.
yeah.
There's also a really nice. I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know if you mentioned this specifically, but
Uh-huh.
when he's talking to his mom and she says
Hmm.
how hard it is to be a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a book for kids, so maybe it's again kind of pandering to kids, but it's like, yeah, it is fucking sucks to be a fucking kid.
Yeah, I did like that where his mom's like, nope, it's worse to be a kid.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's worse. Yeah, I like that.
it's worse. It sucks.
It's it's and this was as I was saying before. They gave you time to breathe at the end of this book.
Hmm.
It didn't just go action, 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 finish.
Yeah.
Now, what is this the first instance, at least explicitly to my knowledge, that we've had the hint of having an unreliable narrator? Up until now, I have to assume that it seems like pretty much everything that they do and everything that happens, these kids are telling us reliably and truthfully. But here we have Jake straight up being like, maybe I burned it down. I'll never tell. So I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's not saying that something happened and then it turns out that wasn't true. He's just like, I don't want to say.
But also, it doesn't matter. It's just, why? Where's the line here? I can't tell you my name. Like, presumably we don't know who he is, so if he's so secure in publishing this book, he should feel fine saying it was him if it was him, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one's probably more just like a comfort level. Like
Hmm.
maybe he legitimately doesn't know, or maybe he's not feeling good about himself for having done it, or
Maybe he's
uh,
covering for Cassie.
yeah, maybe I mean, you can read it more thematically too. You know, as a kind of like it. I don't know. Maybe you can't, but
No, you can.
It was like because I was gonna go like maybe it doesn't really matter who did it or I don't know.
It's a good note to end on, though. Like it is a very
Yeah,
different type of ending to have this. Like you said, this. I mean, this is a very specifically not thematically, but like
yeah,
a plot point that is unresolved and is like that's just a thing you can speculate about that I'm assuming we never find the answer to.
yeah. I mean, who
Uh,
burned down the house? You definitely never know.
so like that's that's cool. That's a different way
Yeah.
to take out. This book does a lot of things in pretty interesting ways.
So there you go. It is thematically appropriate that you don't know. It mirrors the rest of the book.
That sure, the
That's
juxtaposition of
the
it.
artistic reasoning behind it.
Yeah. Look, we didn't even go that much over time.
Yeah, we did pretty good. Although we
Considering
haven't
we
done our
spent
references yet.
no, we do have to do our references. So I guess
Yeah.
let's speed through those. We've got a pop-up ad for a Web Access America Visa card.
Mm-hmm.
You've Got Mail, of course, is mentioned. I don't know. I think if you use the new Clint Eastwood, there's an ad for Yahoo, or there's a joke about an ad for Yahoo's Alien Parasites selection.
Mm-hmm.
The pictures on the website are a Close Encounters of the Third Kind type alien. We said Cardassian from Deep Space Nine and a Narn from Babylon 5. I never watched Babylon 5, so I don't know what the fuck that is. But.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We mentioned John Tesh, Snoop Dogg, and the Spice Girls, the Boy Scouts. I don't remember if we count that as one or not.
Whatever. We always say it and then say we don't know. So
that's why I have to say it every time.
yeah.
Now, I didn't even think of this until just now, but is the Gump a Forrest Gump reference? It has to be, right?
Yeah. It's got to be.
This kid loves Forrest Gump.
This is his favorite movie.
I was
He
trying to
thinks
figure
of
out
himself as Gump.
maybe the 93 was the year Gump came out. I don't know. I think it was maybe 94 though. They mentioned specifically United and Northwest Airlines. Is Northwest a real airline?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it is anymore.
Because I know Southwest, but I never heard anyone talk about Northwest.
That's a good question, actually. Am I just getting confused with Southwest?
I mean, it makes sense if there's a south. Well, is there a southeast and a northwest? And
yeah, it's a real thing. Except not anymore. It
okay.
Yeah, somewhere around 2010, it merged with Delta.
Okay, moving on. We have an absolutely vile Huggies.
Mm-hmm.
Marco says this is why we aren't Batman or Spider-Man. No hyphen.
Mm-hmm.
You know how in the movie Alien, the alien baby exploded out of that guy's chest? Oh well.
I do.
About that. Statue of Liberty-sized humans. Did I count Statue of Liberty as a reference? I guess I did.
Sure.
Count? Great.
I have it here too.
Don't hurt me with the chakram of your wit, Xena. And we learned that is Xena's primary weapon.
Yeah, that's her like little circle thing she throws.
There's some more Xena calling, etc. They stop the Taco Bell. He mentions a bottle of Tabasco. Looks like the building looks like ground control at NASA. The tiger's roar makes brave men's knees turn to jello.
Mm-hmm.
If Marco was rich, he'd spend his day paying Michael Jordan to come over and teach him how to improve his 3-point shot and having the female cast members of Baywatch apply suntan oil to his muscular body.
Mm-hmm.
He'd also have his own Papa John's pizza restaurant down in the basement. You can do better, Marcos. Oh, right. I forgot about Papa John's.
It's not Papa John's this time.
Get a fucking Domino's, dude. Come on. Papa John's. What is the deal?
He's just a racist is all.
Makes sense. No one expects you to be Superman, Jake. Showtime is doing a rebroadcast of the fight that has been on pay-per-view. There's a lawn that you could have held the Super Bowl on at the mansion. Mm-hmm. He also has Ferraris, Porsches, Jaguars, Vipers, not minivans and Volvo station wagons, maybe a few Rolls Royces.
Yeah.
Colonel Hogan would never get out of this place, Jake says. And when the other people laugh, he says, I guess now we know who watches Hogan's Heroes reruns on Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been Nick at night, but I get it. It's fine. Close enough.
Still on Nick at that point.
At night, yes.
It's not a separate channel, I don't think yet.
No, but it's at night is all. now joining actually, and I will say, as someone who grew up and I watched a lot of Nick at Night, I never saw Hogan's Heroes, so I don't recall that being on a lot. So I don't know if it actually was on Nick at Night or not.
Yeah, interesting.
And this would have been prime time. I definitely was watching Nick at Night at this era, so I don't know. Joined up on the roof of a Wendy's. Someone's mind is racing like an Indy car. An aerial display worthy of the Blue Angels at an air show. And Jake's mom says X-Files is on. You used to love that show.
Yeah. According to Wikipedia, Hogan's Heroes was part of TV Land preview on Nick at Night. But that is the only, it's a special cross-promotional airing. But it's the only point it shows up in the article on the list of programs broadcast by Nick at Night.
Well, as you point out, TV Land was not spun off until, I gotta think, the early 2000s at the earliest.
Well, this was a preview, and it says it aired April 29th, 1996. And it looks like it was only the one air date, like the rest of them have ranges.
I could be, maybe it's just that's when we got a cable package with TV Land in it. But okay, interesting. So technically correct.
Sort of, kind of. If they must have watched that one showing.
That is kind of funny that she just assumed they must show Hogan's Heroes. She just wanted to make that reference, and it was like, fuck, how do I make these teenagers know about Hogan's Heroes? It was like they could have just said reruns. Like, I would believe they show reruns on some channel.
Yeah.
But she got greedy, and I called her out on it.
We caught her.
To Seropedia I go.
Goofs and inconsistencies.
Gotcha. All right. Well, this has been fun.
It has. This was a good book.
It's a good book. It's like the Bible in that way.
You're right.
If anyone has thoughts about this book or Hogan's Heroes or Pizzagate, you can email us. Our email address is theyerkyboys@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at theyerkyboys. Will posted a pretty good tweet recently, as he likes to say. As long as it's one of your allotted 600 posts per day, you can go check that out. I won't date the podcast further by elaborating on what that means.
Yeah.
Right. And me. Sorry. And
what about you? Yeah. They can actually find you somewhere.
Yeah. Why don't you just go to jonathanestis.com. You'll find links to my other podcast too, which is called Geeks on Trial, which is a whole lot of fun.
And I'm still on Twitter as DogTimesMcGee.
Oh, and go to gonintendo.com. I wrote previews up for the new Pikmin 4 game.
Ooh.
Now that's going to date it.
Yeah, you tried so hard.
But I'm excited about Pikmin.
It's pretty exciting.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for listening. Tune in next time when we'll be talking about Book 17, The Underground, in which Rachel turns into a bat on the Yerky Boys.